Hi everyone, how's it going? So it's a Sunday afternoon. It's been quite a nice day today, weather-wise, and I'm currently out for a bike ride. Just come to the end of my bike ride actually. If you've watched a few of these videos, sorry, I'm just catching my breath. If you've watched a few of these videos, you'll probably be picking up a fairly common theme right now, which is that I tend to exercise very regularly. I actually exercise every day, once a day, and this has been a real game changer for me because I never used to. In fact, I went for years with really neglecting my body and in many ways abusing my health and my body. But since I've really started to focus on myself, to focus on being the best person and creating the best person that myself, Adrian Knight can be, that has had the most incredible knock-on effects with every other area of my life. Businesses, absolutely, my career, but also my family, my relationships, friendships as well. I've had some of my more superficial friendships tend to quietly dissolve and fall into the background, and some more meaningful relationships that have come in and replaced that, and it's been truly remarkable. And I can actually trace it back to the exact date. It was the 1st of June 2022. That really was the starting point for this. When I really committed, I was like, yeah, enough is enough. So if you are in that lifestyle, exercising every day, and an exercise could be a 45-minute walk. It's never less. It's always 45 minutes, at the most an hour. But even that 45-minute walk, you will start to notice those changes. They will start to come almost by surprise very quickly. And once you start to pick up on that, you just don't want to go. You just don't want to go back. So anyway, it's not really what I wanted to talk to you about today. One of the questions I'm asked quite a lot actually is what type of strategy should someone take with acquisitions? And it's a really good question because, I think it can be quite easy for someone to think, oh great, I'll go and acquire 100% of the business. But what's the end goal? What are you actually trying to achieve there? And there really is many different approaches and strategies that you can take depending on your goals and the type of lifestyle and income that you're looking for, and also I think where you are in your career. So for myself personally, I'm in my mid-30s, 40 isn't too far away. I'm very much in empire building mode. That's where I'm at in my career. I'm very conscious I won't always be here, but that's where I am right now. So for me, a buy and build strategy is very appealing. It's the strategy where you're looking at acquiring, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies plus, ideally in the same, they are in the same sector, and you're essentially bringing them all together. I'm doing that on a slightly different plane in the fact that it's a buy and build, but because of what we're doing with Spectacular Group, it's almost 2 or 3 at the moment, mini buy and builds within a much larger buy and build. So just to explain that a bit better, we have our children's education franchises, our children's activity franchises, and that's very much a buy and build. We've got 2 companies there and looking at a couple more. In the playground side of things, the outdoor learning and playground space, one of the main reasons I went into that sector was because there's hundreds of these companies, and I could see that there was a real opportunity to do a buy and build. It has actually panned out slightly differently to what I expected, whereas I came into this thinking we would make 8, 9, 10 acquisitions. Right now I'm starting to see that actually we will probably do 2 or 3 more acquisitions in this sector, but they will be substantial in terms of the size. So each of the acquisitions, multi-millions in terms of revenue, but we're really putting them together as almost a jigsaw puzzle. So what we've got right now is more of the sales team, the marketing, the front office. And some of the acquisitions we're looking at and starting to get much further down the line in conversations are more the back end, so the people who are physically going out and installing, so they're the install team, but also the manufacturing component as well, around manufacturing our own equipment and products, and bringing those three together with the sort of the acquisition targets we have in sight and are in you know, very active conversations with, that will take us to around 7-8 million revenue, with around sort of a 10, I mean, at its worst, a 10% EBITDA. So you're looking at about 700,000 profit. Really, I expect that to get up to around 900,000 in EBITDA, and probably hovering around 8 million. And we'll stop there. And you know, stop there on the buy and build. It's a major division of Spectacular Group, and we'll go to the next sector. And there's many other ways we can go with this. So that buy and build strategy works really well for me personally, but it's not the only one. You know, one of the strategies I see work extremely well, and particularly for senior sort of senior executives, people who've had a, you know, a very good sort of corporate career, and they've got some real leadership capabilities and, you know, just a lot of very good experience. One of the strategies I see work best for them is actually to go out and build a more portfolio type of sort of acquisition approach. So typically with these, you will go into, could be different sectors, very often is, but you'll go into different businesses. You're not looking to acquire, you know, 100% of the company. That's not the conversation you're having with them. What you are essentially saying is, look, you know, I feel like I can bring a lot of value to the business. There's different ways of phrasing this, but this is sort of the bottom line, is that you can add value to their business, and you know, you appreciate that their cash flow may not be able to support their sort of £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 or dollars a month retainer. So how about you take, you know, 500 or 1,000, but then also you take a small equity slice in their business, and then that can range normally anywhere from 20 to 30%. You don't want it to be too big, because you want the owner, one, you want them to sort of, well, the right people, you want them to agree with this, but also they still have to have enough skin in the game that they're getting the lion's share. So you take a 10 to 30% equity, but, and this is the real important part, before you take any equity, you already agree with the owner of that business that they are going to buy that equity back from you at, you know, a certain point. So if you're going in and saying, I can increase your revenue from 500,000 to 2 million, or 500,000 to 1 million, whatever that number is, or your bottom line profit, or I can grow your team from, you know, 5 to 10, whatever those KPIs are, whatever the important buttons are for the owner, which you discover during your conversations, when those triggers are hit, that's when the buyout starts. And it can be really great and lucrative for people who are doing this, because it's not going to take all your time. You can have 7, 8, 9 people, you know, sort of businesses going at any one time. You know, I know some people running this and they've got 25, 30 companies, and they're really adding some value and doing very well. And then from your perspective, if you're going and acquiring those, you have all of these mini sort of wealth events, these sort of wealth creation events. So when these triggers are hit, it could be a 50,000, 100,000, 75,000 payout, but they start to add up substantially. Now, it doesn't also, those buyouts doesn't have to be when you hit certain KPIs. It could be helping to prepare the business for sale. So when the business is eventually sold, you would also take a you know, an equity stake. There's so many different ways of running with this, and it's so flexible. It really depends on what you're looking to achieve, and also what the owner of the business is looking to achieve, and how well you can align sort of your aspirations and goals with theirs. So there really is many different approaches that you can take to this. I think it's important to know, because if you are going down the acquisition path, then you need to understand what the different maps and strategies are for you. The worst thing I think people can do is mix and match. Like, personally, I would go all in on one and really make it work. When you spread yourself too thin, you just inevitably, you're just not going to be able to deliver, whether that's 100% in your own company, or, you know, sort of as a more portfolio type approach. So, yeah, I hope this has been of value. There'll be more acquisition strategies to come, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.